Well, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are joining us from across the globe. Welcome to all our listeners to the Black Tie Lounge, where we come together each fortnight to discuss all things about the BT Asset Hub. So our webinar tonight will go for about 30 minutes, followed by a Q&A session. So please feel free to pop your questions into the chat, and we will get through as many as possible before the end of the session. I'm Caroline Macdonald. I'm CEO here at Black Tie Digital. I'm very, very excited to welcome our guest tonight, Dajinder Yubarol, who is Head of ANZ Business for Antia Solutions. Welcome, Dajinder.
Thank you very much, Caroline, for having me here.
No, lovely, lovely for you to join us tonight. For those who are not familiar with the Asset Hub, we created the Asset Hub to democratize and revolutionize the way investment is done through the blockchain that we're providing through asset tokenization. We have many various assets on the hub now and many more coming. So it's been a very exciting time. It's been a long journey. So it's taken our team upwards of 4 years, a lot of compliance at the beginning, and then through our due diligence process, obviously looking for the right technical partner. We needed to find a partner that has the same ethos, understood what we were clearly trying to achieve first for Australians, but obviously building a platform that we hope to bring to the world. And one that had experience in the space too, obviously. It's a very fast moving space, tokenization, finding the right partner that, could really innovate with our team, but also had security at the forefront. So on that journey, we were introduced to Antia, and I think, as they say, the rest is history. That you're here tonight, that we've been working hand in hand for quite some time, and hopefully we're able to bring this platform to fruition as to do exactly what we've been looking for it to do. So once again, welcome, Dajinder. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and Antia Solutions?
No, absolutely. Oh, first of all, thanks once again. I'm absolutely looking forward to this conversation today. So let me start with Antia Solutions first. See, Antia is one of the largest full-service Web3 solution companies in the world. We serve a diverse global client base. Been in the IT industry 20 plus years and about a decade on Web3. That's absolutely right from the beginning of the Web3 things as they started to happen. The team has been involved in delivering solutions on the Web3 aspect, right? So we have a track record of delivering comprehensive services. What it means is right from the deep engineering skills of building L1 blockchain itself, then our horizontal and vertical solutions for our clients. So we have done all that. We're doing it, and very excited. From a people perspective, we have around 750 plus in-house developers. But more importantly, 5+ years of blockchain, average blockchain experience, which I believe is currently among the highest in the industry, I believe. Pretty impressive things we are doing so far, if I were to say so. But more importantly, I think there's a lot of exciting things in store, especially around the real world use cases, asset tokenization being one. And we look forward to this amazing journey ahead. Personally, my pedigree is all tech consulting, solutioning, delivering. And in the recent past, I've had leadership roles stationed globally, different countries, and across firms such as Deloitte, Accenture, and few others. From an ANC perspective, I believe the Australia and New Zealand market holds significance important for us. And I'm proudly responsible for managing and representing and growing our Australia New Zealand business. Look, it's a privilege, and I take immense pride in our collaborative efforts to launch this platform and support the pioneering vision of BT Asset Hub. Very excited. And look, thanks once again.
No, thank you. It's been, a journey, I think, that has been, we've been able to walk this path together for such an amount of time, and I think all the teams are still happy each day. You know, even though when we're overcoming our challenges because there's been a compliance shift or something has gone along, the teams have just been absolutely amazing in this journey.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us a little bit more about the architecture that we designed in the Asset Hub and how it's helping bring forward asset tokenization and real world use cases to basically every user?
Oh, no, sure. Oh, well, it might be a somewhat long answer. So let me try and break it into different parts. Um, so for any platform, I believe security and scalability both are very important, extremely important, no questions asked. But let me come to that in a minute, as in how we are addressing all that in BTS at Hub. However, let me cover another very important aspect, at least in my opinion, which is user experience, right? For any platform to be successful, especially the platform and solution like ours, user experience needs to be at front and center. It needs to be as part of the design from the very beginning, and it cannot be an afterthought. So, so what we have worked towards in this asset hub is like bringing in the best of architecture, uh, standards, technologies, but in such a manner that the experience for our user is pervasive, seamless, with minimal friction, or at least that's what we're trying to put together. Now, the user may not, for the end users, it may not matter, even if there is the best of perhaps the most capable asset tokenization system out there, which is enabling next frontier of investment options, if they end up struggling and not using the system. So that's one. And what does this platform do? As we know, asset tokenization is a paradigm which is reshaping how value is being created, unlocked, exchanged, and preserved in the digital economy. And Asset Hub is striving to enable all that and much more, and striving to do that with minimal friction. Uh, so let's talk about the solution architecture, right? So that too, I think we can look at it from a different few different aspects. So starting with scalability, this particular platform ensures scalability through diverse techniques such as containerization, caching, database optimization, leveraging the power of cloud computing, and ensuring that it can scale up to address the needs of the growing user base as we hope more and more users come to use this platform in future, right? And from asset tokenization and blockchain as the backbone of this platform, um, let me take a step back. I think it's a pretty interesting journey how the blockchain ecosystem has evolved overall, and how the token standards that underpin this transformation has also been keeping up. Um, as we all know, blockchain is a distributed ledger that allows peer-to-peer transactions, eliminating the need for intermediaries. It brings in massive transformative benefits, right? Be it near-time settlement, reduce cost, decentralization, transparency, immutability, identity management, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
But and this is what, right? These capabilities have allowed the emergence of asset tokenization that we have now enabling through this platform. So what we're doing is basically through tokenization is converting the real world assets, be equities, real estate, securities, into digital tokens on the blockchain, so that these tokens represent ownership or a stake in the asset that can be traded seamlessly, right? And see, as this blockchain system ecosystem has evolved considerably in the process, it's led to security considerations also improving and reflecting in the token standards. So, so let me kind of share a bit how this is kind of getting evolved, right? From a solutioning perspective and how this ERC standards have kind of evolved over the period of time. So it all started with ERC 20, which set the foundation for these fungible tokens, widely used for cryptocurrencies, as we know, right? And utility tokens. And then came the ERC 721, which introduced non-fungible tokens, NFTs, enabling the representation of unique assets like real estate, right? And that followed by 1155, combining the fungible and non-fungible tokens into a single smart contract to enhance flexibility. Now, we can look at these as a social standards. However, as the tokenization and the needs matured, ERC 1400 and 1404 standards were introduced to address compliance needs, which are very, very important, incorporating features like investor whitelisting or restricted transfers, right? So that had been a journey. Now, finally, where we stand today, we have ERC 3643. That's the gold standard for asset tokenization in the regulated markets, right? So this brings on capabilities such as on-chain compliance, automated restrictions, seamless integration with the regulatory frameworks, making it ideal for tokenizing assets and securities such as real estate here, especially in the regulated market like Australia.
Yeah.
So the BT Asset Hub is built upon on ERC 3643 standard. It is built in such that it can cater to the stringent requirements towards compliance as would be expected for any traditional security in the traditional world, and perhaps more, right? So that's the kind of standard that we kind of build our architecture around.
Yeah. So taking on board that for everyone that's listening, our asset hub is built as, I guess, the gold standard of where it can be at this point in time. And if our compliance journey wasn't so heavy and we built this probably 18 months ago, would we be rebuilding again to get to this gold standard? I think we might have been, because the flexibility and the security now in the ERC 3643 that we've built on, it's sometimes life, I think, is about timing. And I think everything lined up for us, on the journey that we've been on to be able to now have delivered this platform with that gold standard. So would you feel that's a fair comment, Adinda?
No, absolutely. Like it is. And just to add, right, this so what is this 3643 smart contracts allow us for, right?
Yeah.
So look at it this way. So smart contracts are the business logic for blockchain, right? So it can be adapted for specific asset classes, compliance requirements, issuer needs, driving immutable trust. So basically, these are what drives the engine. Now, these smart contracts are integral to Asset Hub, right? So automating processes, ensuring regulatory compliance, which enhances security, transparency, control, all that is managed through this, right? So 3643 now allows us to kind of enable identity management, right?
Yeah.
So it allows us to verify investor identities using DIDs or decentralized identifiers, right? And off-chain registries. So which ensures that we have compliant participants on the platform, right? Which is very important. So we enables us to build, integrate with the KYC, AML checks, right? We built in role-based access, which is we have different roles within the platform: investor manager, asset manager, controllers, investors, to ensure permissioned operations that they can access the functionality and the parts of the system that they are allowed to do. So all that is built through these smart contracts, which have been built over on this standard.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I think one of the highlights to that is, having that security as well, being able to remain compliant on these contracts. And as things progress, these contracts, I think, are more flexible, I guess, than previous contracts have been as well. So, enhancing security and investor protection as the journey continues to go on. What were your thoughts about how the system can manage that now?
No, absolutely. Look, see, security investor protection is critical for gaining market trust, right? The one aspect we discussed, as just talking about, is that this platform has been architected with the security first mindset, right? And one of the solution principles of BT Asset Hub. So from that aspect, if you were to look at, there are a couple of things that I would want to highlight again from security front, right? How this platform attempts to employ multi-layered approach in safeguarding investors' interest while ensuring full regulatory compliance. The other thing is, again, partnering with the best in the industry. Again, that's very important as well, right? You did mention you partnered with the best, but again, extending that from other where we need to and where we can, right? Not reinventing the wheel. So investor protection and issuer due diligence is being done through SumSub. So every platform participant, as I mentioned, undergoes the same. The due diligence for the issuers ensure that the entity in question is credible. And at the same time, the platform enforces KYC and KYB verification process to authenticate the identity of every investor before gain access, right? So that's factored into the platform aspect. And these procedures comply with global regulatory frameworks, including AML, right? Anti-money laundering. So that's one aspect. Another example, if we were to look into, is the secure managed funds through the escrow smart contracts. So investor funds are held in escrow smart contracts, ensuring that financial transactions adhere to predefined conditions before funds get dispersed, right? So this is important. So basically, and another important aspect, like we were talking about partner perspective, these contracts are independently audited by leading security firm Hashlock, right? To ensure compliance with security standards to prevent unauthorized access, fraud, or misuse, right? So see, overall, smart contracts provide full transparency, enabling investors to track and verify transactions in real time if need to be, right? So, so, so let's look at it this way. It's the holistic coverage that
Correct.
underpins the trust and for this platform. So that's where we kind of taken the security first approach.
Yeah, no, I think you've absolutely wrapped it up very well. One of the things that I'd love to pick your brain about, if you can share that with us tonight, is what's going on in the global market. Like, what are the trends that in tokenization that you're seeing that you think will make probably the biggest impact? And where are we positioned, the BT Asset Hub, in relation to that?
Oh, there's a lot happening globally in the crypto world, as we all know, right? Especially in North America, right? But let's focus on the real world use cases as we're talking about, right? And in the perspective of tokenization in particular. Uh, the financial world is shifting, right? So the tokenization is no longer a question or if, right? It's rather a matter of time. It's gonna happen, right? It's happening already. So asset tokenization is transforming real estate, debt, carbon credits, commodities, so many different things, right? Into liquid, tradable digital assets. So this shift is no longer theoretical. So that's happening globally. So institutions, regulators, governments, all are moving in that direction, fast or not, or what should be the pace? It's dependent on who you ask, right? But as far as I'm concerned, so they're moving in the right direction, and which is very promising. So, and it's reshaping capital markets and investment accessibility. So lots happening. So we already seeing some progress, if you talk from a global perspective, around EU's MICA framework, which is setting a compliance standard, right?
Mm.
While Singapore and Dubai are leading in regulated ecosystems, there's a lot of they're laying out the red carpet for innovations. Companies are innovating in the Web3 world, right? So that's happening there. And on the institution front, I think there's a lot of pilots, a lot of work that has been going on since ages, like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, HSBC, all have been working through having their some pilots going around on the tokenization, whether they're tokenizing bonds, real estate funds, or things. I think we're at the stage where we will see many of those moving beyond pilots.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's going to happen. Another aspect is regulator institutions and investors all coming to the realization, and as we see in the US, right? I think the focus is going to be on to accelerate regulatory clarity. See, regulatory clarity is our friend, right? It helps us uh, move with confidence and with pace in the direction where we want to move, right? So, and it will trigger a global change, right? Reaction, uh, pushing London, Singapore, Dubai, and others to scale to their tokenization strategy and get their house in order. I think that's going to happen. What else? Uh, Tokenization assets another 5 years, like say by 2030, could touch upon dollar 10 trillion, if I remember, as per BCG.
Yeah.
So things gonna move, right? So and a lot of exciting stuff. At least I'm very excited.
Look, it's a very we call it fast moving, even though some days it doesn't feel like it's fast. But really, when you think that a whole financial market shift is happening on a global basis, it is moving at a very fast pace. So, and I think with the tokenization, what we've seen is that there's been a huge amount of preparation in the last couple of years. So when regulation catches up and comes out, hopefully Australia hits in March. Things will move very quickly because everyone's been preparing. Is that your, I guess, sort of how you're seeing it as well on a tech level?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, like I said, INSEE also, I think a lot is happening. We're moving in that direction. Pace could be questionable. So I think the things are happening at each stage. So be it in uni. So I was so pleasantly surprised to kind of meet across some of those Web3 crypto clubs that we have in unis, people lining up to do internship around on that at that scale. A lot of innovation happening on the technology front, a lot more happening in the engagement of the industry with the regulatory bodies and government, ASICs, OSTRAC. So I think a lot of promising things happening in pockets, and it's only a matter of time. I think we are at a good pivot point,
Yeah.
and I have a lot of kind of excitement around what we will look to see in ANZ market specifically.
Yeah. Can you care to share a bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Look, see, let's look at a couple of key aspects,
Yeah.
which is applicable both globally and locally. Let's start with that, right? So we touched upon on it. Uh, Government and institutions must recognize tokenization isn't a regulatory issue, just right. So adding a policy here, adding a policy there is not going to solve, right?
Yeah.
Uh, it's the structural transformation, and I think we're seeing a directional movement around on that front. Um, One of the other key challenges, in my opinion, is currently is interoperability, right? So I'm going to touch upon how in ANZ aspect is all it's applicable both, right, globally and ANZ. So without cross-chain liquidity and unified standards, um, tokenized assets have a risk of becoming fragmented and inefficient, right? So,
Yep.
so see again, there's so many players, right? So there are so many L1s, right? I think we will have a consolidation. But see, the point is regulatory clarity, infrastructure, market adoption, all need to move in sync. So that needs to happen. So cross leveraging the strength and partnering for success, I think it should be the mantra. Uh,
Yeah.
so as I was about to say earlier, but the point is, there's so many L1s. There's so many other innovations that are happening in pockets, and that's amazing, right? But what we should see a consolidation happening around some of those innovations, right? Uh, while many of them would turn out to be the uh, success stories, but while not all would survive, right? It would either
Yes.
morph into something else or it would kind of get absorbed, right? Within that. So consolidation is going to happen within the ecosystem, right? Again, I talk about a 5-year horizon. Tokenized markets will be dominant. I think that will happen. The question is no longer whether the tokenization is going to reshape finance. It will. But
Yes.
more importantly, I think who will lead and who will be forced to follow. I think, and again, this is where I was coming from an ANZ perspective. I think we are at a pivot point, right? We are, we could very well be in a position to lead uh, some aspects of it, and then borrow some other ideas, innovations globally, and use to our advantage. Specifically from ANZ perspective, I see real estate and finance already seeing tokenization. BT Asset Hub, beautiful example, right? Around on that front. Uh, and see, again, what it brings to bear, all this, right? The liquidity, efficiency, and accessibility.
Yeah.
um, it will become the new standard. Right now, we kind of starting. Oh, this is what it does. The traditional system does not allow it, but it's only a matter of time when this becomes the new standard itself, right? So this will be bare minimum, which would be expected, and
Yes.
policy regulation, technical expertise will define how quickly we can get there, right? So technical expertise is going to be very, very important, and we touched upon on that, right? So look, on the institutional front, I think I'll let me touch upon on that front too. We've seen RBA's trials, as I said, pilots,
Yeah.
the uh, CBDC trial, then ANZ, Australia New Zealand Bank, actually looking at ADC stablecoin. These highlight some of those promises in pockets, right? So if you were to look at some of these, so if I remember this, the pilot, something happened in 22, and then it was I'm from ANZ perspective, and then there was another pilot done around on carbon tokenization and leveraging the stable coin for that payment in 23. And I think again, many of these institutions are sitting on the side fence.
Yeah.
And as I earlier mentioned, right, I think we will pretty soon see moving from pilot to adoption, right? So that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's a matter of time.
it is. And, a lot of the institutions and they have to sit on the fence, even though they may be ready with their pilot until the regulation is out.
True.
So, uh, they don't really
Absolutely.
have a choice, right?
No,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
And the trifecta, right? So see, as you said, right, the technology sales, the regulatory clarity, and the real world use, right? Real world use cases. I think we are at that place, right? So all these three, we have this trifecta now.
Yeah.
Not so much on the regulatory front today, but I think we are almost there. So there are genuine efforts happening to kind of get there. So that will gonna play a pivotal role.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are now open for some questions. While we're waiting for some questions to come through, if anyone has any questions, Jacinda, would you be able to share with us roughly maybe how many tokenization projects that Anti is currently handling globally in the team?
So I think globally we have done 1,000+ implementations, which is not
Wow.
just the asset tokenization, right? So, like I said, we've been doing it for a decade or more, right? And which includes your crypto exchanges, both centralized, decentralized. which includes your DeFi products, your wallets, which includes your asset tokenization platforms. This asset tokenization includes real estate and other assets as well, right? So there's massive pedigree of successful engagements, and as we speak, many of those projects are happening globally, right? There's a South American client of ours, which is looking at going live pretty soon again. So they already have their soft launch done, and that's again an asset tokenization platform that they have, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, I think what we are focusing on is real world use cases, which is actually is very important for the real adoptability within the overall market, right?
Yes. Okay, well, we must have done an amazing session, Jatinder, because we've answered everyone's questions. So if you come up with any questions down the track, again, feel free to reach out to our team on any of our channels. Thanks for joining us tonight in the Black Tie Lounge. And this recording will be obviously available live on our BT Asset Hub website. If you haven't signed in, I think the QR code has scanned up a few times. So please join us on the Asset Hub and reach out to us and the team here. And thanks again, Jatinder. I always love hearing from you and everything that you've got to share. I'm fascinated. I've become a blockchain nerd.
No, thank you for having me, and it's been a pleasure. Absolutely.
Thanks all. Have a great evening, morning, and afternoon. See you later.
Everyone, take care.
Bye
Cheers.
bye.